All right, folks, hello and welcome. It is 12/29/2022 as we conclude the 2 year incredible. How we only have a couple days left here to go. What a year it's been, guys. It's an absolute honor and a pleasure to come to you once again tonight, be able to make content, helping people navigate the situation at hand, trying to, bring some clarity to this interesting reality that we got going on here. And it's interesting, once you get woke up to the truth, you start to go down these rabbit holes, you start to figure everything out. Then you reach a point where you almost want to turn around and go back and wish you hadn't discovered how evil these people are that we're up against. But once again, as I say, on the most basic fundamental level, we have an opportunity to change our lives and take care of our family during this opportunity. That's not political. We're going to talk about what Joe Biden just did today. They bring, it's incredible. They just bring him a bunch of bills, just one after another, like a little robot. The entity that is Joe the Biden, president of the United States, I guess. Or so they tell us, right? But we're trying to break this down and then give you guys action, give you guys advice, not financial advice, but we're trying to show you guys what we're doing, right? Not financial advice, not legal advice, not tax advice. Please consult your professional. Please seek out somebody smarter than me, somebody like the guest that I had on my show today, Jimmy Valley. Get someone a little bit more smart on your team. I highly recommend that. That's why we have joined the confidential committee. We're working with Jimmy Valley. If you want to understand what the hell that committee's about, go watch the interview this morning. Okay, I had a 1.5 hour long session going over all of the topics with Jimmy Valley in regards to the problem we have at hand with the debt, currency, liquidity crisis, and then basically the crime and basically the cloud on title that the SEC and the other entities within our government have put on XRP, damaging the property of us XRP holders, and how we could potentially use XRP to solve that debt, currency, liquidity crisis, and also the other roles that these other precious metals are going to play as well. We're going to cover that all once again in tonight's episode. All related, all important, and I'm not here for 50K XRP. I'm not here to convince anybody of that. I'm just here to say that there's a new financial system being built. The opportunity looks pretty freaking massive to me, and I'm showing you guys how I am investing, running my businesses, and navigating my day-to-day life in the most transparent way. I'm not a paid shill. I'm not paid and bought by anybody. I am supported by my community, and I am so grateful for that community. And so I just wanted to start out with that little rant about the current state of this deal, where we're at, the content that we dropped today. I'm not here for clicks, views. As you can see, I busted out the suit because my mentor Dan Pena said, when you pull up to have conversations with your bankers, lawyers, accountants, you pull up in your business suit, power tie. So we had to get it done. And I listened to guys that are smarter than me, like Jimmy Valley. The members of the confidential committee are real players. And as we talked about with Jimmy, he's done, basically over $20 billion in M&A deals, leading the negotiations. So this guy's a lawyer and he's a deal maker. That's who we want on our side of the table. And so I'm just trying to get people to, join the conversation, how we fix this debt, currency, and liquidity crisis. And then we also have another legal battle that's being fought by John Deet and Jeremy Hogan, the decentralized researchers within the community. And we've exposed the corruption and the actions that were taken against XRP holders. That's why this conversation's happening. And I'm not going to shy away from it. I'm not trying to just beat the drum. And I'm not trying to say that it's a guaranteed that the proposal that I have in this red folder is going to be it. That's not going to be it. Okay. But we got to start negotiations somewhere. And I want to be a part of saving this country and helping move humanity forward. So that's the background of who I am, where I'm coming from, and the current situation that we're at as we wrap up this incredible year. Master Destroyer, Master Builder number 22. Okay. Now, as I was saying with Jimmy, I said, I love doing the riddles and the decodes, but at some point here, we have to mature the conversation and we actually have to mature our legal actions, unfortunately. I said right up to Jimmy, I said, I wish that we didn't have to get the lawyers involved, right? But that's where we're at. We have to. And it would be, I'm not here to give you advice or recommend anything, but we're going to show you what we're doing in that regard as well. As far as the legal actions we're taking against the SEC and the corrupt entities like the Federal Reserve, they're basically the main institution that has hijacked this country and destroyed the value of the dollar. And I'm not here to get political either. So that's another point that I'm about to make here at the start of this episode is I'm not here to get political. Fixing these issues and the values that I believe in are just core American principles found within our Constitution and other founding documents. And if you go back and look at the history, it's without a doubt that is how we created the foundation for one of the greatest countries and opportunities mankind has seen. And I want that opportunity for everyone across the world. So it's not political, it's not left, right, and it's not just an American issue. This is us, the people of the world, wherever you're tuning in from. We're all in this fight together. I'm just a real Joe Blow schmo. But I envision us having to make our presentation here. We are dealing with this reserve currency ready to reset the whole damn system. And across the table from us is the bankers, lawyers, accountants of these entities, right? All working against us. The Goldman Sachs, the JP Morgans, the good guy Gary Genslers. And they've paid off the politicians all the way from Joseph Biden serving in the lead role, I guess, of the show that's taking place in D.C. Lead role being played by Joe Biden. And then we have the other puppets as well. But without further ado, let's get right on into the news tonight. You know, it feels good to be back in action, feeling like I'm back in the rhythm of things after the Christmas holiday break. And I hope you guys are enjoying it. As you can see here in the last couple of videos here, I have incredible energy rolling into this new year, and I'm super excited for the opportunities at hand. Let's continue to stay tapped in, and let's get right on into it. I got myself some coffee, some tea, and some water. I have a little bit of congestion going on right now. I don't know what it is, but we're gonna get right on through that. That is not going to stop us or slow us down. I promise you that. Appreciate everyone for joining me tonight. Coffee's good, black coffee. Vanilla chamomile with honey tea. Now that's good. That's what I need. Because I'm not actually sick. I just have some congestion. But anyways, let's get this show rolling, folks. I appreciate everyone for joining me tonight. Sip of H2O too. Look, we need a little bit of liquidity in this system in this current liquidity crisis. I appreciate you guys. TikTok as well. Okay, let's fire it up. Thank you. Let's get it rolling. Okay. CoinMarketCap tells us at the time of this recording, which is about 7:53 on the West Coast, Thursday evening, 12/29/2022, Bitcoin's going to be at 16,600, Ethereum's at 1,200, and our XRP's at 33 cents. Okay. Dogecoin's at 7 cents if you guys care. All right. So basically the market is just hanging out sideways, not moving. But one thing that is moving, and it's been moving in a major way, is the major food staples. As I brought up in my last episode, we had to start it off by talking about how Germany's pork swine herd has basically been cut by 50% or something like that. Here we have in the United States here, egg prices jump 49% in 2022. Elevated costs could last into the first quarter of 2023, experts say. Folks, it's funny, it's a joke until it's not, until we're tapped out. And excuse me. The situation, as I continue to say, from the CNBC shills and what the suits are selling us, and the reality on Main Street is a completely different reality. Okay, and not for 1 second, do not get it twisted that when I dress down in my suit to go make my case against the bankers and these bankers, politicians, regulators, and everyone that's working against us, that I'm not down here in the Main Street in the real economy and seeing it from the ground up, because I am. You know, in my property service business, I'm seeing it. And then in the real stories that I'm getting from direct messages in the comments, how emotional people react to, my red folder right now is a state of where we're at in the bear market and the frustration, and especially as XRP holders as well. Incredible. Now, what just happened here? Okay. Sorry, folks, I had an issue there. Clicked in the wrong place. Yeah, so we've been talking about the food price. We're going to basically have to add a section at the start of every show talking about food prices, because this is unbelievable. Eggs up 50% since 2022. Now, this is what they're doing in the DC swamp situation. Joseph Biden running the country. He says, at the end of a historic, productive session of Congress full of bipartisan results, I still have a few bills left to sign. Take a guess how long it took me to sign a stack of 65 of them. Folks, I mean, this video is unbelievable.
Productive legislative session.
Unbelievable. You look at this video here. Look at that stack of bills he's going to sign here. And then he's going to brag about how quick it took him 1 minute, 3 seconds. There you go. And they're making a mockery of basically just destroying this whole country from within. That is what's taking place in DC right now. It's a complete mockery of destroying this country from within. Joseph Biden signing 65 bills right here, as he says, a historic and productive session of Congress concludes. What an absolute joke. Now, I didn't get time to talk about it with the session with Jimmy, but one thing that is going on right now, and Jimmy had brought this up to me before, is the Brunson versus Adams case in the Supreme Court right now. If you guys go look at that, it's interesting to see what is potentially about to go through that Supreme Court this next session, which has now just gotten started once again here, I believe. But guys, interesting. Look at that Brunson versus Adams case. Look at what's on the table here for the Supreme Court to potentially hear out. But folks, I just want to be clear right here at the start. Murray, we're not here to get political. We're going to call out both sides of this thing. Murray says, the GOP's attempt to destroy Ron Paul in 2008 and 2012 told me everything I need to know about the leadership. They aren't conservative. They don't care about individual liberties. They don't care about reckless spending. They won't change the system. They support endless wars. And that's what's going on here. We got Kevin McCarthy, GOP leader. In 6 days, the new Republican majority will fully reopen and restore the U.S. Capitol to the American people. Like, gee, thanks, Kevin. I mean, what an absolute joke. It never should have been shut down. Okay. And this is what we're tired of with the Republicans, Kevin McCarthy, Mitch McConnell's of the world, Mitt Romney's of the world, that are complete sellouts. And this is where this isn't a political issue. This isn't a left-right. This is, we got to call out everyone. You know, and if there's more on the left than there are on the right that we need to call out, then that's the case. But we're putting up the same standard, the same set of rules, the same conviction, morals, and values up against all of these guys. And it's an absolute joke on both sides. Kevin McCarthy, an absolute shameful what he has done here in office as a leader of who's supposed to stand up for individual liberty, like Murray says here, individual liberty, reckless spending. They won't change the system, and they support endless war, which brings us to the problem we talked about today at the very beginning: $30 trillion in government debt and over $100 trillion in unfunded liabilities is just what's on the balance sheet of this government. And they just passed another $1.7 trillion omnibus spending bill as well. Now, this was interesting, this situation that took place here. I thought that it could relate back to crypto because this is a solution right here that should be and could be solved right now by distributed ledger technology. You know, I was thinking the blockchain XDC would work perfect for it. But Nick Huber shares this one at Sweaty Startup on Twitter. This piece by a Southwest captain is fascinating. You'd be surprised how many huge companies operate with horrific systems and procedures. Can you imagine dispatching 20,000 employees by phone call? And so this is from a Southwest captain. He's basically saying that they had 20,000 frontline employees that get managed by phone calls. No automation had been developed to run this sophisticated machine. And basically saying that, you know, this is a lack of leadership over the past 2 decades. But once again, another perfect solution for blockchain distributed ledger technology, right? And I mean, it just goes to show you these incumbents haven't even updated to 2000 or 2010 tech and standards, right? Some of these guys are still back in the 90s. Some of them, Swift, still using a messaging system from the 70s, right? And this old antiquated system is just failing, right? And some people are now exposing that this could have been seen much longer before the issue that happened just recently with Southwest. But there's multiple problems to it. But once again, as one of the main takeaways that I had from the session with Jimmy's, he's just said and reminded us all of the investments that Ripple has made into the XRP ecosystem are just a blip on the radar of all of the professional businesses and institutions that are going to be bringing in their pools of liquidity, going to be bringing in their utilities investments to the ledger as well. And this is just one use case. Maybe XRP isn't the answer. It could be, for sure. XRP can do it all, right? And it is ready to handle all the money, tokenizing all the value, right? It is definitely ready to do that. But who's to say that, you know, XDC is not ready to tap that in right away? I mean, there's going to be multiple winners in this space. The point being, once again, we're seeing the old system fail. Southwest being the most recent example. We see the banking system continue to fail on a daily basis, right? The new numbers, the data that continues to come out. Folks, check out this one. This is a major indicator of the situation at hand, and this is why we're putting out the red alert today. The red alert that we've been putting out for a while now, that we can continue back down to the downside in a major, major way. Folks, take a look. Take a look here. The lender of last resort has begun lending. This is the U.S. Fed primary credit facility. And as you can see, we're starting to climb up here, right here as we approach the beginning of 2023. We're starting to make a move back up, a little bit of volatility. The last time that the Fed primary credit lending had reached up higher to the, higher levels was in 2020. And then before that, we go all the way back to 2009, when we reach the peak of the lender of last resort has begun lending U.S. Fed primary credit facility. Major, major indicator of the situation at hand. The technicals for the S&P 500 not looking good, looking interesting, to put it nicely. S&P hitting the ceiling of the downtrend. Tomorrow will be an interesting day. This is from Finance Lot. Now you guys can take a look here at this chart real quick. S&P 500 tapping out here twice. Downtrend continued. We're about to hit that resistance. S&P not looking good, and Bitcoin looking very interesting as well. Take a look here. This is from Byzantine General. I don't mean to spook everyone, but Bitcoin has never spent 5 months below the 200 weekly moving average. The 200 weekly moving average, folks, is a major lagging indicator, right? And as he says, Byzantine General says, not great. Yeah, that's not looking good. Guys, this is not looking good at all. 5 months below the 200 weekly moving average, a major lagging indicator and a big major time frame on a trading perspective, technical analysis perspective, weekly time frame, 5 months below that weekly moving average. And then we continue on here from Game of Trades. Bitcoin has never seen back-to-back red years in its history. No consecutive red years. So this is back to from the very beginning here. Okay. So maybe, just maybe, we will have a green year here for Bitcoin. In the past, relatively short history, we have not had 2 consecutive red years. And that 4-year cycle did play out. The halving was last year, right? So we have concluded that, and it is looking good. It is looking good, but remember, the technicals are saying that we probably have some levels to clear out on the downside. So guys, just to give you guys a quick market update, I'm not trading this thing. I don't trust this thing. This thing's a liquidity crisis. I don't trust any of the exchanges for crypto. And so right now, I'm just continuing to stack and dollar cost average into fundamental positions and stack cash on the sidelines and stack silver on the sidelines and continue on with my prepping and my investments in business. Right now, I still am being patient. This thing is wearing me out as well. I'm right there with you. But we have to look at this thing unemotional. We have to understand where it's going. But then we have some good indicators. XRP chart, major suppression. When it does break out, it is going to melt faces. Bitcoin, not the investment that I'm going to be making, right? I'm not interested in Bitcoin. I'm not interested in Ethereum, and I'm not interested in 99% of the cryptocurrency space. And so I'm just showing you guys what I'm doing. I just reacquired my bag of XDC. I showed you guys that XDC deep dive. If you haven't checked out the XDC deep dive, I encourage you guys to do that. Good refresher for those of you who even already own XDC and know about it, okay? But for me, guys, watching this thing, it is wearing me out. It is hard to remain patient. I wish that we would just cleanse this thing. I wish that the next exchange would just go bust, the next crypto project, SEC files another lawsuit against someone. Let's just wipe this thing clean, right? Let's get everyone washed out and clean so that we can start to build the real utility and we'll build the foundation for the new financial system, right? Now, once again, they are trolling us. By making this such a delay, by making us so frustrated, by putting us through a recession and a bear market. And then this headline that came out here today, we have a delay. Bank of England will be delaying their migration of chaps over to ISO 222 messaging, which will now occur on June 19th, 2023, as opposed to April 2023, as was planned. Okay, this is a real-time growth settlement renewal program, and this is the Bank of England delaying their migration over to June. Okay, and that's the CHAPS system. Okay, so this is what they're telling us, right? And as I titled this video, the banks have been exposed, completely exposed. So while they're telling us that it's all delays, right? They continue to tell us that delays, ISO's getting delayed. But here we just had a most recent meeting at the FDIC. And I talked about this with Jimmy, and we were talking about this. Jay Clayton was sitting at this meeting as well. And basically, this was a group, a systemic group committee, actually. They called it a committee, where they're talking about the current crisis. Now, Wall Street Silver is sharing these clips from this, but everyone can view this. I'll try to find the link for this and share it on down below for you guys. But this is from a most recent meeting here with the FDIC. And the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, remember guys, is the insurance company of the banks that back your accounts. The $250,000 that is FDIC insured within any major U.S. bank account, that is the FDIC, that is this group. And they're talking about the systemic risk in the situation at hand. Folks, you got to listen to this. You got to hear what they're talking about. Incredible.
It should be accessible when people need to know, but I don't think you have much hope of reaching a public that doesn't have a professional need to know.
I completely agree with that. I almost think you'd scare the public if you put this out. Like, why are they telling me this? Should I be concerned about my bank? Like my insurance.
You hear him? He said you would scare the public. And this is Gary Cohn. He was a former advisor in the Trump administration, same time that Jay Clayton was serving. He said you would scare the public if we told them what was going on.
Insurance company doesn't tell me what they're doing with my assets. If they just assume they're going to pay my claim, right? I think you've got to think of the unintended consequences of taking a public that has more full faith and confidence in the banking system than maybe people in this room do. That we want them to have full faith and confidence in the banking system. They know the FDIC insurance is there. They know it works. They put their money in. They're going to get their money out. So there's a select crowd of people that are in the institutional side. And if they want to understand this, they're going to find a way to understand this. There's a bunch of law firms represented in this room. There's a bunch of people that charge them by the hour a lot of money to explain this all to them. And it's fine. I don't have a problem with that. And they all have huge staffs. But I would be careful about the unintended consequences of starting to blast too much of this out in the general public.
And that's the whole situation here, is they didn't expect us to be on their ass in the way that we are. And the decentralized media, the decentralized researchers here, we are working together as a community to find up and actually watch all these meetings and documents. And thank God in the United States, we have somewhat still of a rule of law, and we still have public access to all these records. We should have access to all of their calendars, all of these meetings, and we will spend the time to go watch them. And we will go, we are going to. And as he said, we would scare the public. We need them to have confidence in this thing, even though he's basically admitting that it's bust. Now, this is another one. And as you can see right here, Jay Clayton right there, FDIC, okay? And this is another major clip from the FDIC meeting showing this is going down soon. They are expecting it. And this is an FDIC quote right here. You don't want a huge run on the institutions, and they're going to be. And there is going to be. This was in November of 2022, folks. Check this one out. Jay Clayton sitting at the table as well, of course.
Tests. I wondered whether there are some market tests of whether you're being heard. And I think about TLAC. So TLAC should respond to good and bad news about the institutions. And it's really important. I mean, it's a little bit conflicted, right? I mean, it's important that people understand they can be bailed in, but you don't want a huge run on the institution. But they're going to be. And it could be an early warning signal to the FDIC and the primary regulators when these things happen. And there may be some other prices, this is similar to what Jay was saying, in the market that you can tell whether people understand who's going to be protected, who isn't going to be protected. It would be, I think, an interesting study to look at the evolution of market prices in a situation like March of 2020, for example, and see whether people understood what might happen.
Who's going to be protected? That's what he's asking right there, right? We're figuring out who's going to be protected, and it's going to be very clear, right? And as you guys see, they're trying not to panic, and they're trying to just have a respectable professional conversation, right? Everyone, all hands on deck meeting. And how does that make us feel, right? How does that make you feel as an American? We got Jay Clayton sitting at the table here trying to figure out how to, keep this system afloat as they're admitting that it's about to go bust and the public is about to figure it out, right? And it's going to be very clear who's going to be protected. And that is why this $50,000 buyback conversation is not about $50,000 XRP and a buyback from the Federal Reserve. It is literally a conversation of who's going to protect us, who's going to protect our assets. What legal team can we assemble to help us create the entities, the trusts, to not only be able to keep our assets, but to be able to protect them, to keep them, not get taxed away, and then to be able to generate some wealth from that too, right? So we've made it, we're accumulating it. Can we keep it? And then can we get it to multiply? Can we get a return from it and provide the generational wealth that we're all talking about, right? And as you can see, this is why this conversation is so important. It goes so much deeper than 50,000 XRP. Pull up your big boy pants, pull up to the table, just like these guys are doing. Jay Clayton, Gary Cohn, FDIC, they're all meeting. They're all talking. It's about to happen, similar to 2020. That was a good test for us. 2020 was a test, one of many. They know it's coming, right? And that's, I think, why we have so much anxiety, right? As we wait, we're getting impatient because those of us that have done the research, not only have we seen the documents and the publications, as I'm about to show you some more, while they tell us more delays, this is nothing. They sue Ripple versus SEC, they sue XRP. Meanwhile, on the back end, I'm going to show you Citibank working with Ripple, all of these big banks and financial institutions partnering up with Ripple XRP, a new document that I just came across from the Hoover Institute, which is Stanford. And then we have more documentation that's coming out from these big, basically the leaders in academia and the leaders in banking and payments, all confirming, where XRP plays a role. Multi-currency stablecoin, bridge currency, right? They use the same kind of terms while we're in this staged SEC lawsuit, and they kill us literally through the events of the last 2 years and the events of the last year as we've been technically in a recession. But this situation has been going on for a while, right? The economy actually started to kind of turn even while Trump was still, in there when the Fed started to raise interest rates back in 2019. Right, 2018, 2019. But nonetheless, you guys see what is underway 1 year into this recession, bear market, crypto's been slaughtered, and they're still telling us it's not just FTX. This is the banks. This is the FDIC that's supposed to insure the $250,000 that we have in the bank account. This is why we continue to stack precious metals, a little bit of the Second Amendment too. Personally, I don't have any gold, but I like gold too. For me, gold is an allocation that I will make once I have more wealth. I don't have enough wealth to invest in gold. It just doesn't make sense. And wifey doesn't like gold jewelry. So I'm not going to buy any gold jewelry for her. Otherwise, maybe I'd get her a little something, but she doesn't like gold. So I don't own any gold. Silver, Second Amendment, God bless it. XRP, an incredible bag. XDC, I just went in on again. XLM. And then, as I've been telling you guys, cash on the sidelines for real estate. Just cannot wait. What an opportunity that's coming in real estate. I did want to give a shout out, though. I did see TK with a $20 super chat. I do appreciate that. Okay. But this community and others here that are tapped in on what's taking place, this meeting here that's circulating, it's going around the community and we can now see it. It's not conspiracy theory like it was 10 years ago. The system's once again going bust. The liquidity crisis is here. The debt crisis is being called out. And the currency crisis is happening as well, i.e. other countries are ditching the United States dollar, they're ditching our treasuries, and our own banking system is saying that we don't have the assets, and it's pretty clear who's going to be covered. good luck. Good luck to you is what they're saying, right? And oh, by the way, let's not tell the public about this. Now we have this document right here. This is from the Hoover Institute referring to XRP as an SDR stable coin. Pretty incredible right here. And this is, like I said, the Board of Trustees of the Leland Stanford Junior University. So this is from Stanford Hoover Institute. But here's the direct quote right here. It is possible to envisage even more adventurous arrangements. For instance, a special drawing rights-based stablecoin issued by multilateral agency reminiscent of John Maynard Keynes' proposed supernatural currency, Bancor, which would be exchangeable with any national currency. Any national currency thus could be convertible into any other national currency in 2 steps via the stablecoin. Such an arrangement would resemble the cross-border payment system that Ripple currently operates with its XRP cryptocurrency and is just one of a variety of possible alternatives. Any democratic alternative should allow for private sector solutions. Multi-currency corridors, for instance, should not rule out the use of regulated private stablecoins or cryptocurrencies, even though such solutions might require additional regulations as discussed below. So while they're stalling out, while they're telling us nothing's happening, they're filing the lawsuit, not only at Gary Gensler's MIT presentations where he's calling XRP a multi-currency bridge currency, but at Stanford, the leaders in the top of academia in America right here, they're laying it down for you. Multi-currency corridors, private sector solutions, and is just one of a variety of possible alternatives. Okay? Yeah. And what he's talking about here too, or whoever this will put, this is put together by a lot of people actually. They call it a special drawing rights based stable coin. Now, this is why in the most recent 2022 proposal, there's talks on the committee of addressing the IMF, the World Bank. Now we've included the Treasury, which I love to see. When I saw that they were including the Treasury, I said, okay, fantastic, because we understand what Trump did during his administration by moving kind of the reins of the Fed back within the Treasury Department, sort of. And then he brought in BlackRock as a custodian. So they started to rewrite the rules during the Trump administration. And then as you've seen, the program kind of has just been flipped back the other way over the last 2 years. And they're trying to save face as they've been completely exposed. And basically, they kind of just got handed back the keys to the corporation. And the corporation is just allowed to show their bankruptcy in real time right now. That's the DC corporate entity that we're addressing in this committee. Now, guys, the thing is, right here, we talk about special drawing rights, and IMF special drawing rights right now is a basket of 5 currencies. XRP, think about this, is a basket of not only every currency that's been put on the XRP ledger, but every other asset, commodity, bond, security, NFT that's been put on the XRP ledger, right? I mean, it's going to be backed by an incredible amount of value. And so I think the XRP is the perfect ESDR, as they call it in the proposal, the terms that they're working on now, this 2022 edition. And, I think it is. We have to understand what entity we're sitting across the table from is what Jimmy said. Because we understand that the Federal Reserve is a private entity that is not part of our federal government. It's not supposed to be there. The Federal Reserve is not supposed to be across the table from us. Okay, it should be the Treasury Department. Okay. Now, what's interesting too is to watch the 43rd Treasurer of the United States goes to the board of directors at Ripple, amongst other partnerships and connections with the Treasury Department and other government agencies with Ripple. But I mean, guys, the 43rd Treasurer, the one running the show, the one that should be running the show, the currency monetary policy. Okay? How interesting. What a coincidence. But as we continue to see, these banks have been completely exposed because they tell us delay, they tell us nothing's going on. And we have another one from Wrath Economy. This was an older one, Citi using Ripple. Of course, it's almost like every bank has sat down across the table at one point or another. It's just a matter of did they pilot the technology or not? Or did they just listen to one of their other banker friends? Oh, it worked good? Okay, we'll wait. We'll do our pre-allocation deals. We'll let the staged SEC lawsuit play out, and then we'll just do our deal with Ripple for our 5 billion XRP or our 2 billion XRP, right? But Citi using Ripple, this graphic lists Citi as a Ripple user. It is not original to the source, but rather block data tech. Surprising, but Citi is known to have experimented with Ripple earlier, likely to regard RippleNet use only, not XRP. In 2020, Leonidas found some Citi exec interviews that mentioned Ripple experiments. Does the blockchain data refer to these or something else? So once again, we have another one back in January of 2020. Citi did experiment with Ripple. Okay. And then we did see that Citi extended their partnership with Volante specifically for their Vol Pay product. So they're all working on it right here behind the scenes, once again, going back years ago. And what are they doing right now? We have major anon giants moving hundreds of millions of XRP. Big amounts of XRP moving right now, folks. Incredible. This was done in 2 transactions. Okay. Around 17 hours ago, an amount close to 500 million XRP was moved between anonymous wallets. 40 million XRP tokens. And then second transaction was 410 million XRP. Who could that be? Who could that be? Now we've seen, they've been piloting that Ripple technology, and then they go back into the shadows and they cut the backroom deal. They cut the backroom deal with Brad and team, and it's a pre-allocation. Here's how much of the XRP escrow you're going to get. Here's when you're going to get it. Because Ripple laid out the time. They laid out the calendar. They laid out the dates for when all of the XRP is going to be released to them, and then they get to be the righteous custodians from there. So imagine, Ripple's going around to every single enterprise that they've sat down with. They've met with over, I think, 80 central banks is what we've heard. And at this point, they've partnered up with hundreds of banks and financial institutions, right? And they have the same thing to sell to everyone. And it's just a matter of which banks, financial institutions, and businesses are going to jump on that opportunity the fastest. And I do not think for a second that some of these players in the West are going to get left behind. I think that they plan on using XRP as a strategic weapon, similar to how Ripple is. They understand that Ripple brought themselves up to a level of the BIS, the IMF. They created an ESDR, which is issued by the IMF. And then they're ready to do all of the clearing and settlement, just like the BIS. So Ripple brought themselves up here on the world stage higher than the level of central banks. And as they approach these central banks, they have not only the technology to work for real-time payments, but they have the reserve currency. And I think that that's what matters the most here, folks, in this conversation. And has always gotten me most excited about this is not just a payment network. This is a reserve currency that people are just going to want to hold. Similar to me and you, many of us in the community, we're just going to want to hold on to this asset and we're not going to want to release it. Now, the little bag of XRP that we got might not seem much to these big whales that are moving around half a billy XRP in a couple of transactions, right? But it adds up. And what does that mean? That means that the XRP available for liquidity for that payment network, for the liquidity solutions, for all the other utilities is a smaller supply, which then means we need a higher price. If we're solving payments, if we're solving liquidity, that means we would need a higher price. Then it's just a matter of us sitting around with our calculators till the sun comes up tomorrow doing the calculations and the valuations. Now, one thing is for sure, we have big amounts of XRP getting moved around. Ripple continues to give XRP to their on-demand liquidity partners. A couple hundred million basically every month going to their on-demand liquidity partners. But we are currently seeing a gold buying binge. This one from Molly Elmore, and huge shout out to Molly. We're big fans of her. If you guys haven't checked out the interview that I did with Molly, I highly recommend it. She's a very smart lady, and she had an incredible session with me over here on my show. Look it up, Molly Elmore, and my name, and I think you should be able to pull it up. But she says this is from the article. The last time this level of buying was seen marked a historical turning point for the global monetary system. In 1967, European central banks bought massive volumes of gold from the United States, leading to a run on the price and the collapse of the London gold pool of reserves that hastened the eventual demise of the Bretton Woods system that tied the value of the US dollar to the precious metal. Gold buyers binge on biggest volumes for 55 years. Now, what's important here, guys, to note is that this was front running. This was leading up to the United States going off the gold standard and the Bretton Woods Agreement having to go bust. So a similar scenario right here. The banks and financial institutions are loading up on utility distributed ledger technology, right? And then the central banks are buying a record amount of gold, and specifically a buying binge that we haven't seen in 55 years, which brings us to the last currency reset. 1971, Nixon took us off the gold standard, and then you can see what's happened to the value of the US dollar since. Truly incredible, the similarities that we're seeing right now, folks, within the markets, within the stock markets, within the commodities, and the overall situation here. Very similar to back then in the 70s, and very similar to the 2008, 2009 great financial crisis as well. Okay. But one thing's for sure. We can watch here what they're doing, and we could take advantage of this opportunity for ourselves as well. In 1960, yeah. This led to a collapse of the London gold pool. Remember, they just had to shut down the London Metals Exchange this last year as well. We continue to get liquidity crisis, and then they just continue to break records with the amount of gold that they're buying, and then they lie to us while they do partnerships and deals on XRP ledger technology, behind the scenes. Right here, we have the announcement that gold-backed digital assets have been issued in Russia. This one is from our friend James Rule XRP. Gold-based digital assets being issued in Russia. And as we've been talking about, these other countries, the BRICS nations, are moving ahead whether we like it or not. So it's up to us to get our act together, or we're going to get left behind. The unfortunate part for me is I feel like they have set this up so that the old guard gets consolidated, sacrificed, but the ones that do survive have accumulated all the gold, all the XRP, and all the assets that matter. Right. So that this is going to be the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. And that's why I want people to be tapped in, to be preparing, not just reading headlines, not just reading the news, doom and gloom, and sitting here twiddling our thumbs, complaining about it, but actually taking matters into our own hands and figuring out what action we can take on a daily basis to navigate this crisis. Right. We have platinum, which is a leading indicator for silver, breaking out from a 6-week flat consolidation. Gold Ventures on Twitter sharing this. This tells me silver retrace odds are getting smaller as correction is done by time instead of price. Okay, so we got right here, major breakout potentially. It's already came out here, and I got another one to show you here. This one's from Robert Kiyosaki. I became a gold bug in 1972. I was a Marine pilot in Vietnam flying behind enemy lines, hoping to buy gold at a discount because the mine was in enemy hands. Found out the price of gold is the same all over the world. I predict silver going to $75 and gold to $3,800 in 2023. So how about that? A couple predictions from Robert Kiyosaki: $75 for silver, $3,800 for gold. But what's also fascinating about that is how he mentions, right, that the price of gold was the same across the planet, right? It was a currency that's been accepted across the planet. And as we're seeing once again here today, there's a reason why these central banks are stuffing the vaults with their gold. Now, if you guys are looking to make that move, as you guys already know, I do have a affiliate down below, Precious Metals link. Get in touch with my people if you're looking to roll over your retirement 401k to Precious Metals. They'll help you roll over your retirement account, okay? But then they also will ship you physical metals as well. Okay, they just require a rather large minimum. But if you're looking to make a big investment into precious metals, you can get in touch with my people. Or if you're looking to roll over your retirement account, the link on down below will help you get that process started. And it takes some time. And as we're seeing here, this thing can happen at any point, right? It's just like the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. It could be settled up at any point. This real collapse, this currency collapse, is happening in real time. I think we're all just waiting for that big black swan, that flip of the switch moment where they're going to flip it off and it's going to crash even further to where they have to shut down the system before we get that reboot. So for me, I haven't been waiting. I've been within reason, within my budget, within my own business plan and investment strategy and thesis right now, been allocating to all of the assets that I continue to believe in, and then my business, because that's what's been getting me through this recession. Once again, we talk about our businesses. We talk about bringing in more money, whatever it takes, whether that's getting in OT, getting a raise at your job, It's not about being an entrepreneur. It's about figuring out how we survive this inflation crisis that we now face, this recession and bear market. Although it looks like we are about to break out in the next year, be prepared for another 6-12 months of sideways recovery and them continuing to stall this thing out. It does feel like we're very close, though. That's for sure. Now, I got one more piece of fantastic news. XRP now accepted by top real estate developer in Dubai, and this was originally shared by Wrath of Kahneman, actually. We take a look here. Wrath of Kahneman. You could buy a swanky Katura reserve home in Dubai using XRP, among other things. So it looks like Katura Reserve, a development in Dubai, is expecting USDT, Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDC, Ripple, XRP, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, and a bunch of other cryptocurrencies. The Katura Reserve payment plan. So you put down 15% on reservation, 5% after 30 days, 10% after 150 days, 10% after 370 days, 10% after 540 days, 10% after 790 days, and 40%, the final 40% on the handover. Now, I'll tell you what, that does get me excited about, being able to pay, buy some real estate with cryptocurrency. But these developments in real estate, that's a whole other conversation, which I wanted to let you guys know. We're about to have another real estate deep dive in my Discord group where, I allow some of the people within the group to share deals that they're doing. I talk about some deals I'm looking at, how we're positioning ourselves in real estate. It's one of many deep dive sessions that we have coming up within the Discord group. So if you want to get in, tapped in, remember, you can take advantage here, potentially write off the cost of the Discord group because we've included that business development program as well. But I'm now running a special here. If you sign up, pay for a year upfront of your Discord membership, not only will you get 16% off a tax write-off, but I'm also throwing in there a free 30-minute one-on-one session with myself. So you guys got a couple days to take action on that. As I said, talk to your tax professional. You may be able to write off the full Discord amount because it's a business investment in your education. And I'm trying to show what we're doing here in business, in our investments, real estate deep dives coming up, along with some other webinars that are going to be a lot of valuable content coming that way as well. Super excited as we roll into this new year. Like I said, we got a whole other session that's coming out too on real estate because that's kind of crazy. Some of these developments, these plans, and what they've been doing, right? They're collecting all this money up front, and they can't even finish the houses, right? They can't even finish out these developments, and then you're buying properties that are losing value right now, 10 to 20%. Real estate getting hit pretty rough in some of these markets, and some experts saying that we could go another 10 to 20% easily in real estate. Some markets even more, right? Some markets have already been smacked 40 to 50%. Actually, it's pretty crazy. And so for me, I do want to bring in a couple more, experts on real estate, people that are doing real deals. For me, as someone who's looking to make my first move into the real estate asset class, I am just chomping at the bit here, super anxious to move, but remaining patient, stacking cash, having reserves, and going in with real strategy and a real team, a foundation. It's going to be much more than just, a couple real estate rentals, just much more than just a couple rentals, couple duplexes, a couple, properties. I'm really looking to move and build a property business. And so it's going to be a major deal, major infrastructure going to be built out, but the opportunity is going to be so massive for us folks, whether you're just, looking to make a move on a smaller level, you're trying to build a real business, or if you're already in the real estate business, I would love to hear from you as well. I'm looking to actually interview experts in the field and people that are doing real deals. But we're seeing the real ones are going to survive in all of these business sectors that are getting disrupted right now. But real estate in particular are getting smacked, and in some areas smacked a lot harder. And so I just want to, it's just like with crypto for me, we have conviction, we understand that. I understood, some of these markets here in the United States, just these high-flying cyclical markets, we knew that couldn't last, right? And so they're getting brought back down to reality. I'm seeing it in my local area as well. And it's very interesting to watch. For me, I just haven't seen enough pain yet in the market. I think that there's still so much more to clean out. Just like we talk about with cryptocurrency, we still have to clean out the space. 90% of them needs to go away. We don't need 90% of the real estate sector to go away, but that's a space that is going to be consolidated, and that's a space in some markets that are going to be brought back down to reality. And that's fine. That's healthy. It's just healthy markets. And so, like I said, I'm just trying to show you guys every day the current events, the opportunity in cryptocurrency, because I do think that that's the biggest, but then how we're navigating these other assets like real estate and how we're starting and running our businesses to maintain cash flow. Maintain cash flow when we're seeing the price on real things go up 50%. I mean, it's so dang stupid. And people say, stick to crypto. And I'm like, well, the swine herd in Germany's down 50% and the price of eggs in America is up 50%, right? So that's numbers that matter. That's, looking beyond the crypto TA, which looks fantastic for some of our cryptocurrencies like XRP, XLM, XDC. Once they clear out of these ranges, these downward trends, the massive explosion on the blowout is going to be massive, right? That's fantastic. But in the meantime, can we feed our families? So that's where we've always brought people back down to reality. And the haters and the trolls that we're getting right now from the $50,000 buyback conversation, I understand that they're just new here. And so they need to learn who I am. And so that's why, I'm sorry for ranting on. For those of you who've been with me for 2 years, who understand where I'm coming from, this might, have been a redundant episode as I rant on about this, but I just am trying to provide the background clarity for people to understand who I am, why I'm talking about these issues, why I'm so transparent with you guys. I believe I'm one of the most transparent here in the space. And to see people attacking me right now that call me a paid shill, I only care about myself, Jimmy only cares about himself. And, we're not going to be able to convince everybody. And I'm not here to convince everybody. And we're not here to convince people that XRP is worth 50,000. What we're here to do is begin negotiations. And we're trying to figure out who's going to sit across the table from us. We got a debt currency liquidity crisis. And how can we actually protect our rights holding this currency XRP? Then our digital asset rights are getting affected, as we talked about. Article 12, take free rule, got to get familiar with it, because if we don't understand our rights, it's getting interesting out there, what they're passing. Take free rule. If you don't make your claim within two years, basically you could lose your rights to your property of stolen NFTs, of your Songbird tokens, of your Flare tokens. So this goes very deep, guys, very deep. And, I just hope that these new people that are coming on can stop being so emotional. Hopefully, they can come aboard, pull on their big boy pants, come have the adult conversation, and be a part of the solution, which is what we're trying to do. I think it's, I have the most amount of respect for Jimmy and the other members of the committee that are sitting on my side of the table. They're working for free. Obviously they have their own incentives, right? But they're not. These guys are lawyers that charge very hefty fees. These are business guys that could be doing other things with their time, right? But they're working on behalf of everyone within the XRP community. And I would make the case that this goes further. This goes into saving this country and then providing opportunities and calling out the good guys, these other countries that are moving ahead. I love to see it. We just covered Russia backing their digital currencies by gold. Okay, we already know that they've gone back. They only want the rubles. They only want gold. And they're basically controlling the flow of their commodities coming out of their country, oil and natural gas primarily, right? We're seeing countries like Zimbabwe that are going to gold-backed currency. And then they are also holding back all of their lithium, holding back all of their valuable commodities and resources. Lithium's gone up 1,000% in the last year, by the way. And then we also just got word. I didn't get a chance to talk about it with Jimmy, but he was letting me know. He basically got word, and I wish I had. He'll send me over the source. I got to remind him on it. But basically in Nigeria, they're looking to go live with gold-backed digital assets, gold-backed currency in January sometime here. So these countries are getting ready, and they're starting to release the actual proof documentation, and the actual statements are coming out in some of these other countries first. And these countries are having to move first because they're not just still having a good time like we are here in America. These countries are running out of gas. These countries the lights are off. They don't have water. Like these countries are getting hit with real crises on a massive scale, on a fundamental, just fundamental basic needs level, right? Fortunately, we're in a better position here in the United States, right? Relatively speaking. But you look the United States in decline, without a doubt. And I hate to see it as an American. And so that's where my position comes in, where where I stand, I put it on my sleeve for everyone to see. Not only do I believe in the XRP digital currency, but I do believe in solving this country, coming back to, getting the government out of our way. The life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is all I want from my government. Please get the hell out of my way. Just let me build, businesses for my community, bring value to the world, and take care of my family and have a good time. That's all we're trying to do, right? We don't want to go about your agenda. We're not down. We're not trying to eat crickets, ride our bikes. And I do like a good bike ride. That is fun. But we're not trying to give up our cars. I still need to drive my diesel pickup truck when I'm hauling a load. I still do get real work done in the real world from time to time, And so, guys, that's where I'm coming from. As I said, I'm just another guy. I'm no one special, right? What are my credentials? People ask. I'm just an American that owns XRP. I would like to invest in the XRP ecosystem. I would like to build out, help see utility built out on the XRP ledger. And I would just like to work on my businesses, bringing value to the world. That's all I would like to do. That's my only credentials. It's nothing spectacular. Okay. But, we got to step up, and somebody's got to start the conversation somewhere. And for us, what we're doing, most of it is calling out the corruption. Shining the light on the corruption is a large part of what we're doing. It's a peaceful revolution in that way. Just simply saying, hey, what's going on here? Kevin McCarthy, you're a joke, actually. Sometimes I go a little too far with my someone called attacks on these guys, but I think that they're justified. I think that Kevin McCarthy needs to step down and move aside. Please get out of the way. You've done nothing, just like all of the rest of these politicians on both sides of the aisle that are been in politics for 30 years. I think it's really unfortunate where we're at here in this country, and I'm just trying to fight. I'm just trying to resist, create a future for my children, right? And I'd love to see the rest of the world have a similar opportunity. Get off of our currency, ditch our dollar, get you some silver, gold. Keep your lithium, jack up your lithium. I mean that's a whole different conversation, right? On where this is coming from, the minerals and the resources and all that. But at the end of the day, I want power to these countries. What's happened so far is the West has come in and basically owned all these countries, right? Now China and Russia are coming to the table, and they're getting deals done with Russia, China, and these BRICS nations, because these other countries are saying, okay, we don't want to get paid in US dollars, and we want someone that actually respects us, that doesn't undermine our people. We elect someone, and you guys don't approve, so we know what they do there. Right. And that's what's been going on in these countries, not only in the African continent, but in South America as well. And so now the line in the sand has been drawn in these regions between, one side, the East, Russia, China, and the United States in the West. And I don't want to see, Russia, China take advantage of them. And I don't want to see the United States take advantage of these people, right? Some of these areas providing some of the most valuable resources for this planet, right? But as far as, their agenda, living like a peasant, it's like, no, I don't need to live like a peasant. We just actually need to fix these issues, right? My living is not destroying this planet, right? Golly, they got the damn, they have the new emissions BS on my truck, and it's an absolute joke. As soon as I get it off of warranty, I'm about to cut the dang thing out. And that's the BS that we're dealing with at the most basic fundamental level. We got to tone back and destroy our vehicles. And we're doing nothing. Absolutely doing nothing. We spent an hour here ranting and raving here tonight, going over the current events. Guys, I appreciate you guys. Let me take some questions at this point. Thank you so much. Appreciate all of you guys. It was incredible. We had 1,500 people in the live chat earlier today with the interview with Jimmy. 1,500. Facts, where are they? Pull up. Okay, Jemmy, yeah, TikTok, where they at? You know, the TikTok folks, holy cow. They get riled up. They get offended. They're crying. It's incredible. What do you make of Carvana going bankrupt? Yeah, a lot of these things were overhyped. A lot of these programs and businesses were overhyped, overexpanded, grew too quickly, and they're coming back down to reality. It's a reality check for every business sector. It's a mass dislocation of every single business sector. Carvana definitely getting sacrificed, yeah. One of many. Matthew, I appreciate you. You just joined the subscribe. I see you just became a subscriber on TikTok, Matthew. I appreciate the support, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Predictions for Q1. I think Q1 is going to bring in the bottom. I think Q1 brings in the bottom. What up, Matthew? It's good to see you, brother. Been here for a month. God bless you. God bless you. All right, what are our questions, folks? Let me get your questions answered. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate the adults in the room ready to have the conversation, you know. Do you have a homestead set up? No. That's well, but I do, you know, it doesn't take much room to grow a little garden. So I will say that, you know, I mean, I had a vegetable garden going this year. I have connections to beef, you know, local beef farmers, cow farmers. So I have right relationships and connections in the meantime. But eventually I would, you know, that's kind of my goal, is to run my own, you know, farm ranch. Yeah. But that's work, man. That's work. I know about physical work and physical labor. I've been there and I've done it, and I don't want to do it. So, you know, I understand what's going to come with that, running a real operation. But I am preparing. Like, in the meantime, it's pretty simple. I just throw some seeds in some dirts and some pots, and I get my vegetables. I got my greens, my herbs, all my, you know, essentials coming all year long, pretty much. Europe in the Pacific Northwest, there's a couple months out of the year that we can't grow anything. But other than that, I mean, there's stuff that we can go year round with. And obviously, if I had a greenhouse too, it'd be very easy. So yeah, no, I do plan, because for me, it's what makes sense for you to do in-house. What capabilities do you have to do in-house versus what relationships do you need to have? Like, not everyone needs to have a cow. It might just make more sense to go buy a whole cow for whatever the price is going to be, because I found that even if you're paying same store price, the quality is 3 times as good. You know, it's very hard to get good quality in the stores now. I mean, I think that my mother told me that the beef tenderloin, the beef tenderloin that we cooked for Christmas was like $150 piece of meat from Costco or something. I mean, it was cooked to perfection. It was so beautiful. You know, the greenies wouldn't have appreciated this nice piece of meat. But $150, what are we doing? And you know, at Costco, it's incredible, but that's where we're at. But like I said, it's about what can you do in-house, and then what relationships can you get within your local community. Thankfully, in my area, I have a lot of good local connections and people that are getting it done. Raw Jersey milk, you know, and I let wifey kind of handle the health and the food aspects of our life, because for me, I'm spending too much time in this situation, this reality. I'm thinking about how we reset our currency debt and solve the liquidity crisis. So I don't like spending time on figuring out what the best deal is. But for me, it's the basics. I like eating meat and vegetables. And then from time to time, I like to have, you know, a few coffees a day. Like, that's basically what I put into my body on a daily basis, besides the couple adult beverages here and there that you may see me partake in. So I keep it very simple. But you know, that's the thing. I like to make investments in each aspects of my life, right? So whether I got my little garden operation going on, whether we're, you know, on some sort of plan to eat healthy, right? whether we're talking about our business plan, whether we're talking about investing in cryptocurrencies, it's about figuring out what we can do every single day to continue to take action and move forward while we're in a recession, bear market, and everyone and everything and every piece of news is bringing us down, right? Like it's a lot. It's wearing us out. I'm there with you guys. I'm getting impatient as well, right? So that's why I focus on what can I get done? What list can I get done today? And I procrastinate, and I'm always running behind, and my team is always having to crack the whip on me. And God bless them for that. I'm so thankful that I've been able to assemble some infrastructure and a team behind me. The community that we have here of folks like you that smash the thumbs up for me, share this content. You guys are all helping me and moving this cause forward. So it's an absolute pleasure. And I'm just trying to bring positive energy because I know that this has been, and we just reached literally the darkest point of the year, the winter solstice, and it's been dark. It's been dark. The charts have been just smacked. Our crypto bags have been wrecked, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm as alive as I've ever been still. Although it's wearing on me, I am, getting. I won't even say I'm getting impatient, because I'm just letting it play out at this time. Actually, that's the best part of being in the position that I'm at is I have enough on my table. I'm seeing enough growth within my life. I'm getting to spend enough time with my family that the crypto price, I am not even checking crypto. I check when, once a day when I do my live stream with you guys at this point, because I'm no longer trading this market. I'm just not even looking at the crypto prices on a day-to-day basis. I'll know that the market's moved. I'm sure Twitter will let us know when we get to 10% pump, right? But in the meantime, we've just been ranging and it's just been wearing us down. So we got to focus on the other good parts of life, right? I just feel incredibly blessed through this Christmas holiday season, relatively speaking, health within my family. And then, my beautiful daughter and my wifey and everything. It's just incredible. Incredible. And then the businesses are just ready to continue growing into the next year, guys. And then the bags will get just so much bigger if they continue to stall this reset out. I mean, God bless the opportunity. And then, unfortunately, real estate. Fortunately for some of us that are prepared. Unfortunate for those that don't see it coming. Real estate's about to correct hard too this year. All I ask for is hard evidence that XRP is the main coin. See, my friend, we are trying to figure this out. This is in real time. Okay. We have documents, we have proof, we have, real partnerships that lead to tell us that we know XRP is being used right now. We know the growth and adoption, it continues to grow, but show me somebody who's doing more than Ripple. Show me somebody, specifically show me a currency that has more adoption than XRP with primarily banks and financial institutions. So that's why we think it's in the lead main role. And you're not going to have the powers that be come out and tell you, oh, hey guys, we're going to reset the whole system and XRP is going to be used for wholesale payments on the back end. The CBDC is going to be XLM, right? And, we wanted to give you guys time to prepare for that reset. By the time that happens, you're going to be too late. So, these guys are trying to come at these angles. Show me hard proof. Show me hard facts. They are building and ready to roll out this system behind the scenes. It's up to us to connect the dots, look at as much evidence as we can, which we have a lot. I've made my conclusions, my hypothesis, and my investments, and good luck and God bless to you. I hope it works out for you, my friend. That's, always, these guys are always trying to attack us here one way or another. I can show you the most amount of facts, evidence that lead me to believe that XRP will be the leading coin, the leading currency used for, payments by banks and financial institutions in this whole space. There's the most amount of evidence to lead me to that conclusion, but I'm not here to give you financial advice. And you go find facts to disprove that theory. And I would love to see another coin that's doing anything better than XRP and another cryptocurrency that is a cryptocurrency company that is doing more than Ripple. I would love to see that. Show me what you're working with. Keep it clean digital. Thank you for the super chat. 5 spot. Appreciate that. Keep it clean. I see you've given a couple here. Hopefully I haven't missed any other super chats tonight. I do appreciate you guys. Jemmy says, but I'm an adult and might buy XRP instead of food. Exactly. Then I got guys telling me that, attacking me, saying that I'm getting people to FOMO into XRP right now instead of buy Christmas gifts for their kids and instead of buying food for their families. Like, hold up. When you guys were still trying to decide whether or not it was a bear market, I was telling everyone, putting out my recession to-do list. And the first damn thing on the to-do list was essentials prepping. When you were still trying to defend that we weren't in a bear market, I'd already put out the recession to-do list that talked about prepping essentials, food, everything that your household needs for the next year. Might as well stock it up now before prices go up 50% on eggs like we just reported on. And they want to say that I'm telling people not to buy Christmas gifts because I'm talking about this buyback proposal. So immature. And that's so immature. And I saw, in today's live stream with Jimmy, whole communities were sent in, whole communities of trolls. And I see it, and it's unfortunate. And I wish that you would do better. Let's grow up, get your game up, step up to the big boy table. I'm not going to ask you to put a suit on. I did that for my own. The suit was kind of a mentality to get me in the zone. So I could picture myself sitting across from the Federal Reserve Treasury Department, IMF, World Bank, and Brad Garlinghouse on the same side, John Deaton, Jeremy Hogan, Jimmy Valley. And I'm just having freaking fun. I was telling Jimmy, golly, we're just having fun with the red folder. Trying to have a little fun during this bear market recession, all this doom and gloom. All these people that are just so emotional. I have to ask, do you guys really believe what you're saying? Here's the thing. Do I really believe what I'm saying? I believe what I've been building specifically within my businesses. So I've always said, XRP is part of our strategy for generational wealth, but all of this conversation, all this fun stuff that we're talking about, without it, I still am doing just fine, and I'm still going to create generational wealth. So I don't have to decide or come to a conclusion whether all of this is right or not, whether this is going to make me rich or not, because we're real people with real businesses, not just hoping and praying, not just, we're not just sitting around here acting like we're, getting something done. We're actually trying to move the needle forward. We're actually trying to show them to play their card. And somebody's got to do something. Somebody's got to start the offers and negotiations somewhere. And if it's not Jimmy, then let's let it be somebody else. And if you don't want Jimmy or me to represent you and you don't care about this committee, that's fine. It's not like we're trying to speak on behalf of everyone. He's trying to get something done. And as we talked about today, none of us want to get paid in fiat. And all of us understand the real issues at hand here that have to be addressed kind of for us XRP holders to agree to that. We understand how powerful this asset is. We're not just going to give it up willy-nilly at the first meeting that we have with the Federal Reserve. And an interesting thing to take note here is, Jimmy talked about some of his multi-billion-dollar deals that he helped negotiate and structure, taking 6 years to finalize. Well, this is a much bigger issue than just merging two companies. This is resetting currencies and debt. So you can see why this has been a decades-long struggle, but it is interesting. It does feel like we are coming to a climax of events, right? It does feel close. The clips that we showed from the FDIC talking about how they know that basically the FDIC doesn't have all the assets, doesn't have all the money, and that the public would be shocked, right? Tell us and confirm part of what we believe, part of the situation at hand. We keep getting vindicated every single day by these documents that come out and this new meeting that just took place in November. This was the FDIC, basically the insurance that covers the banks, and your $250,000 that's supposed to be covered in every major U.S. bank account. They basically, their internal meetings, they're talking about the systemic risks and basically how all the assets aren't there. And it'll be pretty clear who we're going to protect. And 2020 was a test. Thoughts on Andrew Tate? Zach, you may be next. I really haven't commented on Andrew Tate. He knows how to get attention, right? And so he's definitely got a lot of attention right now. He's just another guy doing his deal. Some of the things he says I agree with. He's, obnoxious at times. I don't really listen to Andrew Tate. I don't really listen to young guys. I don't listen to guys like even closely to my age. I listen to mostly older guys. Some of the shit he says though does crack me up. Yeah. He doesn't really look like he's in a struggle either. I don't know. To me, it does kind of look funny. And I do wonder who's behind him. He's an interesting character. I'll just leave it at that. There's definitely guys that have been put out, I think, that have been signed off by the powers that be, that have been put out that seem like they're anti-matrix, right? And I'm not here to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down on Andrew Tate. I'm just saying others. There are others that have been released, I think, and kind of signed off on, and they make it seem like they're, outside of the matrix, outside of the system. I think they're misleading. A lot of people are getting misled right now. I mean, obviously, we're at, as this just continues to expand, there's new YouTubers coming up every day, adding to the confusion, adding to the FUD, and misdirecting people. So, yeah, I just be careful who you listen to. And I like to listen to people with the most amount of experience, the people that have really done the deals, right? And what's interesting is, like with Jimmy, he wasn't just like a paper pusher, little assistant lawyer, during these deals. He actually headed up the deal. What did he say? It was I can't remember. It was $11 billion. And that was the deal that he actually headed up. He was like the chief legal counsel on that deal. And it was $11 billion was the largest deal that he's done. Oklahoma Public Gas Company or public electric company, utility company, something like that. That's somebody who has real experience doing $1 billion deal, right? And that's who I like to listen to. I like to listen to, my mentor, Dan Pena, 77 years old. And he's basically been doing this for 50 freaking years. 50 years. As we talked about, these banks have been buying the most amount of gold. And it's, the last time that they bought this much was 55 years ago, right before they reset the currency about 51 years ago. Right. So once again, the similarities, and I like listening to Dan because he's been through all of these moments. And he's been part of conducting transactions in the multi-billions, hundreds of billions. So, yeah. Tate is materialistic, which serves the matrix. Exactly. Like my point is, I get you need to store some wealth. You need to store your money. I don't like I'm not a car guy. So to me, that's stupid. Making videos flexing about buying all this, like, what I just saw a video is like $5,000 in Dolce and Gabbana, like a few shirts and sweatpants. It's like, dude, that's nothing to brag about. And I just don't get why. Like, I get if you want nice clothes and stuff, but it's just like some of that shit. It's just like, dude, it doesn't make sense. And the kids that are watching that think that, start to worship this stuff that I think really misguides them and misdirects them. For me, I'm wearing a champion t-shirt right now, right, guys? And I like to put on a dress shirt and a button up to be presentable to my audience. I had to bust out the suit today. That was a one-time occurrence. And the last time I actually wore that suit, I've only worn it one other time, was when I went and saw my mentor Dan Pena speak in person in Oklahoma last year in May. So it was fun to bust out the suit, but I remain a regular guy, right? And for me, seeing them, all of the luxury cars, flexing all the girls, and all of the nonsense, all the clothes, and it's just jewelry, and I'm a basic, simple guy, but I do want to build generational wealth. So that's real businesses, that's real estate, that's real assets. But I'm not interested in nonsense like the fluff. And, my F-250 has a lot of utility. The 6.7 power stroke's an incredible engine for what it is. It's a decent truck. I like some utility. So I don't have any plans of doing the Lambo deals. That doesn't make any sense to me. And I really don't care for designer clothes. I do like putting on a button up. I do like dressing down. I do like dressing down. But these guys I think are misguiding these kids, misguiding the youth. And I think that's unfortunate. That's why I don't listen to him. I don't listen to him at all. Appreciate you guys. 10 cents incoming. I don't think XRP is going to hit 10 cents. It's a way to keep the masses in consumer mentality. Exactly my point, man. And yeah. I just don't get it, because I'm like, you can buy nice stuff that costs more expensive than Walmart clothing that, is a little bit nicer, built a little bit stronger or whatever. But I mean, t-shirts for $600, $500, it's like, come on, man. I want real assets. I don't know. I do understand why, guys that like cars, that's cool, whatever. And I can understand parking some money in cars, but we've been programmed. Yeah, we have. Market maker opinions. Okay, so recently there's been an attack on basically Ripple using market makers for selling off XRP. And it's a really stupid attack. I'm just going to be honest and get straight to it. We've talked about this in the past. It's nothing that we're not aware of. And once again, Ripple is doing it as righteous custodians. They're using market makers to facilitate these transactions, programmatic sales of XRP, so that they don't have a large impact on price, so that they don't shake up or manipulate the market. Now, some are saying, well, that's what's keeping the price low. Well, what Ripple is doing right now is providing liquidity and making sure that there's sufficient liquidity for on-demand liquidity using XRP. Right? So they're releasing it out to their partners so that they can use the XRP, right? We got to give it up at some point. And yes, it is going to be considered revenue for Ripple, which a lot of their revenue, they're investing back into the XRP ecosystem, which is once again what we want to see, right? But the way that they're using the market makers is the responsible thing to do. We want to see them using market makers. Otherwise, they just pull a Jed McCaleb and they're just dumping every day. And that would actually be pushing the price down. Right? The way that Ripple's doing it, where it's going, it's immediately going into utility. It's not going out into the public space to be traded or held. It's going out for utility. So once again, it's another kind of another attack on Ripple, and just comes from a lack of understanding. Okay. All right, guys, I am going to wrap up this session. It's been an absolute pleasure, Kay. Everything is at my website. Like I said, if you're looking to roll over your 401k, precious metals is linked up down below for you guys. 401k retirement account, get rolled over to precious metals. Link on down below. Okay. And then you can sign up for the Patreon and the Discord membership. Those who pay for a year's worth of Discord up front are going to be able to take advantage of a 16% savings. And I'm throwing in a free one-on-one session with myself, 30-minute one-on-one session where we can talk about business, investings, life, or just BS, whatever you want to do. And so I'm really looking forward to that. You guys got a couple days left to sign up for that opportunity. And then with that being said, guys, I'm going to wrap up and conclude this session. I also do want to say it looks like we're about to have Citizen of the Future back for round 2 coming up soon. We're actually going to ink the date and time here in conversations here with Citizens of the Future for another round 2. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I just want to say thank you to everyone in this community. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. God bless you all. Take care out there.